Hi, Ms. Schellberger here to talk about macros. Now, it's all the rage these days, the macro diet. You can eat whatever you want as long as your macros fit. Or and you can't because you have to eat a certain way to make those macros fit. And so, a big thing about macros is it's confusing. Now, the easiest way, I believe, to get the right macros in is to focus on your portions. And the diet that I've created makes it easy. So you basically just count your portions every day. You don't need to log anything. You don't need to do that because all the work, if you do the portions properly, you're going to be getting very close to the perfect macros to get to your goal for that specific phase of your program. So there's two phases in my program. There's the buffing and the boosting phase, but so each macros for each is a little different. So if you're really hung up on this macro business, I've done the calculations for you here. Okay, so the macros that I recommend during boosting is 35 grams, or for 35 for carbohydrates, 35 for proteins, and 30 for fat. Now, a traditional bodybuilding diet is more 40-40-20, so 40 carbs, 40 proteins, and 20, or 40-30-20, or I mean 40, what is it? Sorry. 40, they say to have, 40 or 50 carbohydrates, 30 protein, and then only 20% fat. I believe in eating a little bit more fat than the average personal trainer because I believe fat doesn't make you fat. Extra carbohydrates, extra glucose in your system makes you fat. And not getting enough protein makes you fat. And not working out properly makes you fat. So, but actually eating fat doesn't make you fat. So, just so you know, for the macros that I recommend for my boosting phase, you're looking at 35% from carbohydrates, 35% from proteins, and 30% from fat. Now, the next phase is the buffing phase. And the buffing phase, we're dealing with 30%, only 30% carbohydrate, 40% protein, and then 30% fat once again. So these two diets are different because during boosting, we're trying to boost your metabolism, so we're relying a little more carbohydrate, and we're focused on muscle building. And definitely having a little bit more carbohydrates in your system helps you build muscle. Now, during buffing, you're really trying to lose weight. So, of course, we're going to cut down a little bit on the carbohydrate intake and increase your protein intake just a little bit. Now, the interesting thing about this, that when you track it, say if you're using like MyFitnessPal or something like that, you will notice that they count fiber in the carbohydrate category. So when I'm trying to cut back on my carbohydrates, I eat a lot more greens. And greens contain a lot of fiber. And so that number that you're going to see for your carbohydrates is very hard to get down to 30 if you're not aware of the fact of net carbs. Now, net carbs is the number of total carbs minus the number of grams of fiber that you're intaking. So if you're eating a lot of green vegetables that have a lot of fiber, you're going to find that if you're tracking it like on a tracker that gives you macros by the end of the day, that your carbohydrate intake might be a little high on their percentage. But if you rework the numbers, taking out and only counting your net carbs versus your total carbs, you're going to find that number is nicer to you. So to get it down to 30. And then another thing that I want to mention here is eating more fat versus more carbs is okay. So I'd rather see your macros on the fat side be above 30 but as long as your carbohydrate is not any higher than the recommended amount. So if you want to follow my diet, the easiest way is not counting macros. Just count your portions. Read the portion of my book in Hormonal Timing about diet. We talk about the 5-4-3-2-1 diet. It is counting portions, and that by the end of the day, if you fill up all those portions, your macros will be on track to these numbers, and these numbers will get you to your goal if you follow the program. Now, workouts go hand in hand with diet, so make sure that you're not just dieting, that you're also working out. Now, if you aren't working out, you definitely will not be allowed to eat as many carbohydrates to lose weight, and you definitely will not be allowed to eat as much protein to be able to lose weight, because you don't need as much protein if you're not working out. So there is definite changes that you're going to see if you don't work out. This diet works if you're working out according to my workout program, which is very weight training centric, using intervals, also rather high frequency workouts. You're gonna be working out, for more than you're not working out, so at least 4 days a week, and you're going to be progressively increasing your intensity to challenge yourself. So this diet, macros, here it is once again for you. If you are interested in more information, go ahead and get in touch with me. Give me a comment, ask me a question, whatever it is. But I wanted to make sure you had this information right in front of you. All right, take care. Bye-bye.